Hello, good evening to you. How you guys doing? Hope you're doing well. I hope you enjoying this your weekend. Gonna be the weekday pretty soon. It's getting cold out there. Yeah, yeah, I'm hanging in there myself. In this video, I'm going to show you some positive aspects of most people don't think about African Americans, Black Americans. We always see the negative part. We see so much negativity, but never no one. And so after a while, when you be around so many people, you think that from who's someone who's non-black, who's non-FBA or whatever, like what did these people ever do? Just be not working, not innovative, not motivated, not educated. And this is what mainstream America wanted to do. Before we go into this video, Black History is coming up month. The foundation of Black America, you have to be proud of it, of the intuition. And in this video, I'm going to show you the business aspect of Black Americans. And shout out to these content creators for bringing this up. Of this is who they are, not what mainstream society says. I'll get back with my commentary. Shout out to hopefully Professor Darius.
In the bustling port city of Charleston, South Carolina, in the year 1820, a skilled African-American tradesman named Samuel crafted exquisite wooden furniture with the precision of a master artisan. Despite the sweltering heat and humidity, he labored tirelessly, his strong hands expertly shaping and sanding the wood, ensuring that every detail was perfect. Samuel was born into slavery, but his talent and dedication to his craft caught the attention of his enslaver, who allowed Samuel to work independently, earning a small income from his trade. Samuel had been saving his earnings for years, hoping to one day buy his freedom and start a new life. Every morning, as the first rays of sunlight peeked through the small window of his cramped living quarters, Samuel would rise and mentally calculate the amount he had saved. He knew the price of his freedom was steep, but he also knew that the day that he would be able to walk away from his enslaver as a free man was drawing closer. As Samuel continued to work diligently, his reputation as an exceptional craftsman spread throughout Charleston. Wealthy patrons sought out his creations, drawn by his intricate designs and impeccable craftsmanship. However, Samuel's success did not go unnoticed. His enslaver, growing increasingly aware of the young tradesman's potential, began to demand a larger share of Samuel's earnings, slowing his progress towards freedom. Despite this setback, Samuel's determination never wavered. He knew that every piece of furniture he completed brought him one step closer to his goal. He worked tirelessly late into the night and cherished the few moments of solitude in his workshop when his master was away. Samuel's journey to freedom was fraught with obstacles, but he remained steadfast in his pursuit. His story is a testament to the indomitable spirit of the enslaved African-American tradesmen who fought for their freedom and sought to carve out a future in the face of adversity. As we delve further into this history of Black entrepreneurship in America, we'll discover many more stories like Samuel's, illustrating the resilience, determination, and innovation that have shaped the nation's business landscape. I'm Professor Darius. Welcome to African Elements, where we explore the depth and diversity of Black history, culture, and social justice issues. If you appreciate the work we do and want to help us continue to bring these important stories and perspectives to light, please consider supporting us on Patreon, sending a super thanks, or subscribing to our channel. This video is the first of a two-part series on the history and impact of Black-owned businesses in America. So, let's get busy. The history of Black entrepreneurship in America is a testament to the resilience and determination of the Black community in the face of adversity. From the earliest days of the nation, African Americans have played a significant role in shaping the business landscape. Free black entrepreneurs faced discrimination and often had to contend with laws that restricted their opportunities, yet they still managed to find success in various fields, such as shipping, lumber, and real estate. If enslaved, black entrepreneurs could sometimes participate in the market by hiring out their services during what little personal time they had. Even as their enslavers demanded a portion of their earnings, some enslaved entrepreneurs managed to achieve significant wealth. Despite the legal disabilities that restricted their opportunities, some free black entrepreneurs managed to develop business enterprises that provided services for white patrons or that specialized in various retail and service occupations. The most successful black entrepreneurs were found in New Orleans, San Francisco, and cities in the North. In the antebellum era, black tradesmen played a crucial role in the development of black-owned businesses in America. Skilled artisans such as blacksmiths, carpenters, and shoemakers not only provided valuable services, but also laid the foundation for the future generations of black entrepreneurs. Despite the limitations imposed by slavery and racial discrimination, many black tradesmen managed to establish successful businesses. This legacy of perseverance and ingenuity can be seen in the story of Henry Boyd, a former slave who became a successful furniture maker in Ohio during the 19th century. Boyd's innovative designs and skilled craftsmanship enabled him to compete with white-owned businesses, demonstrating the potential of black entrepreneurship. Continuing this proud tradition of black entrepreneurship, James Forten, a prominent black entrepreneur in the 19th century, amassed considerable wealth through his sail-making business in Philadelphia.
So, Foundation of Black America, tell your children this is who they are. That's why the Most High put it in you. And look at what you can produce. But yet these other people don't say that black people don't produce something. But they never sit back and saw the history. And now they find out in the year 2025 how valuable we are, like most people is. But before they make a judgment and see what the media paint, if they would do some research, and it goes to all these ethnic groups, they will see what's in us.
Amassed considerable wealth through his sail-making business in Philadelphia. Forten's success allowed him to contribute generously to the abolitionist movement, making him a key figure in the fight against slavery. In 1850, Forten was worth an estimated $100,000, making him one of the wealthiest black entrepreneurs in antebellum America. It was said of James Forten that his own coffers were so generously opened that only the wealthy New York merchants, Arthur and Lewis Tappan, contributed more to abolitionism than he did. The service sector also saw the emergence of black entrepreneurs during the antebellum period. Barbers and caterers were among the most successful black-owned businesses in this era. Black barber shops in particular became important cultural and social institutions within the black community, serving as gathering places for discussion and information exchange. Catering businesses, on the other hand, allowed black entrepreneurs to leverage their culinary skills and artistry to create a niche for themselves in the competitive world of event planning and hospitality. Many black caterers gained reputations for excellence, and their services were sought after by wealthy white clients. During the antebellum era, there were several notable black entrepreneurs who managed to achieve success despite the many barriers they faced. Among them is William Leidesdorff, a successful merchant and landowner in California during the mid-1800s. Leidesdorff is often regarded as the first African-American millionaire. His business ventures included shipping, real estate, and hospitality, which laid the foundation for future black entrepreneurs to thrive. On the East Coast, Thomas Downing owned a successful oyster house in New York City, catering to the city's elite. Downing's business acumen and commitment to his community made him a prominent figure among black entrepreneurs in the antebellum North. Among the black women entrepreneurs, Elizabeth Keckley, a former slave, established a successful dressmaking business in Washington, D.C. during the 1860s serving clients such as Mary Todd Lincoln. Keckley's entrepreneurial journey highlights the opportunities available to skilled and determined African Americans in the antebellum era. These early examples of black entrepreneurship in the antebellum era demonstrate the resilience and determination of African Americans to succeed in the face of adversity. By establishing businesses in skilled trades and the service sector, black entrepreneurs laid the foundation for the growth and diversification of black-owned enterprises in the years to come. I'm Professor Darius.
Shout out to Professor Darius for bringing it up. So, this is the people you come from. This is the people that they don't tell too much about. This is what they don't want to tell even school histories. This is what Trump and the administration want to wipe away. This is what they don't want you to do, because if your young people see this, they won't think highly of themselves. So what we have to this day?
Give me an outlook.
Now that you see the past,
helping each other as a community.
you're in the present.
I am because we are. And that inherent belief in shared humanity, in interconnectivity, is just central to my ethos as a person and also in business.
I am of Cameroonian descent, and we really focus on community. And so that's really meant that whenever I've thought about launching a business or thought about what value my business would bring, it was always people-centered. Growing up in a family business was very interesting. What I remember most is you never get summers off. I think because the business is quite diversified, it gave me an outlook on different businesses, what it takes to run a business, hard work, dedication. In terms of my perspectives, I was always looking at owning my own business growing up.
My dad started this business. It's a plastic manufacturing business back in Nigeria. And I remember when he started it, he poured his heart into it. And I think as I've seen this business grow, it's been really amazing to see the jobs that have been provided to other people back in Nigeria because of this business. My grandmother, my father, and my family actually started a business because there was a need. Because in apartheid South Africa, people couldn't get supplies. So we stood up and said, here I am, let me try and do something for the community. Now as I operate in business, it's actually for me really important to support other entrepreneurs. So I actually angel invest in other entrepreneurs that I see and I believe in the problems they're trying to solve. My advice to young black entrepreneurs is be yourself. You have to be unbelievably passionate about the thing that you're creating because it's going to be hard. So care about the thing as much as you care about yourself and build something that makes you happy to talk about it with your friends and family. When I moved to the UK, I lost my dad at the start of it, and everything that I had planned to do when I get to the UK, including learning more about business so I could make him proud and start my own business, is something that propelled me to not give up. I think about the things he's taught me, and I'm very proud of the legacy he's left behind because it makes me who I am. It makes me dream bigger than myself.
Wow. So that's one of the ideas. So we see the people doing internationally from different parts of the black diaspora. Let's see what this young man says.
What you got to do is you've got to dedicate yourself to knowing the ins and outs. You've got to learn the tricks of the trade. And that's the reason why I got written on this board right now, zero learning. Because a lot of us, we're guilty of zero learning. Don't you know that the average CEO in America today reads one book a week? It's 52 weeks in a year, so they're doing a ton of learning. But a lot of us feel that just because we have talent, we've got creativity, we feel that we have a certain gift in a particular area, we really don't need to learn anything we can just take what we got, bring it out into the market, and then everybody's going to be in love with it. And if you carry that mentality, competing in a world with 7 billion people that are all competing for the same exact resources as you, I'm going to tell you this right now, you got another thing coming. You got another thing coming. If you think that you're just going to be able to take whatever it is that you're working with now with no understanding on how to be able to do your accounting, with no understanding about how to be able to do your marketing, no understanding about how to be able to create process, you really don't understand the nature of business. This is what stops our community from being able to have explosive business growth. We've got to learn how the game is played. And you know what? That becomes a barrier because a lot of us did not learn business growing up. We didn't learn it from our parents. We didn't learn it from our friends. We didn't learn it from, all these distant relatives that we might have seen at the family reunion. A lot of times, we're trying to pick up on things right now today that we really should have learned many years ago down the line, okay? So what you got to do if you want to be successful is you got to dedicate yourself to becoming a learning machine. Long before I ever got behind the camera, I was always behind the scenes learning my craft inside and out, learning what the industry leaders were doing, learning what was happening in the marketplace, learning about everything that I needed to do in order to be able to put my best foot forward in growing my business. That's the same thing that you got to do if you want to compete. Number 2, you got to understand proper marketing, okay? Just simply providing people your product and their service and telling people to go out and get it is not effective marketing. A lot of times we've grown up in the hood and we might have seen maybe 1 or 2 black businesses, but you saw zero marketing and there was an expectation that businesses were going to be supported by other black people just because. If you're going to be successful, you got to understand that a big portion of all of your business efforts has to go towards marketing your business. They got a famous saying in society. It says, if a tree falls down in the forest and nobody else is around to hear it, does it make a sound? In other words, what that's saying is, you could have the very best business in the world. You could have, the number 1 solution to be able to change the game in somebody's life. But if you are not putting your product or service in front of the right people, there's no way in hell that they're going to find out enough to ever make the decision to buy from you, okay? You got to know that a big part of your business, it all comes down to marketing. And if I'm going to be quite honest with you, if you are an aspiring business owner or you started a business maybe 1 or 2 years ago, still trying to get yourself going, a large portion of your business right now should have to do with a lot of marketing just to put yourself out there because you need growth. You need awareness. You need people to know that you exist. You need to start getting some eyeballs on your products or services. Because if nobody knows that you exist, how are you ever going to sell what you got to sell? I hope you don't think that your product or service that you're working on is just going to sell itself. You got to be out there and you got to be doing some promotion. And if nobody is following you on your social media, if nobody is following you as a part of your email list, if nobody is coming to your brick and mortar location, because of the fact that they don't know that your business is in existence, do not ever expect for your business to be successful. Long before you go out and, buy all these fancy gadgets and tools and all these strategies, what you need to be doing is first and foremost learning how to be able to market yourself in your industry and then coming up with an effective marketing strategy that you can execute on day by day. Okay? So the number 2 thing is that we create a product, but the product has no marketing. You've got to be able to market your business. All right? Number 3, you've got to have the ability to be able to sell at the right price points. A lot of us are guilty of underselling. Okay? Sometimes we oversell. But a lot of us, because of the fact that we come from certain neighborhoods, certain backgrounds, we don't really feel too confident in what it is that we have to offer to other people. And we're quick to hear other black people always discrediting what it is that we're doing in our businesses. And so what we'll do is we'll try to lower our price points to try to appease everybody. But you can't please everybody. What's the formula to failure? Trying to please everybody. So one of the biggest problems that we have is underselling. A lot of times your product should be sold for a higher price than what it is. You might have dreams and ambitions of making a high amount of income, but you're never going to be able to get to that high amount of income if you're practically giving away your product and you're not walking away with any type of profit margins on the basis of your sales. If you're going to be doing this as a full-time business, you got to walk away with something to be able to keep a roof over your head. If you're going to be growing a team, you got to be able to give something to your staff. You got to be able to have money to keep the lights on and keep your operations going. And a lot of times what we will do is, out of a spirit of guilt, wanting to please everybody and sell to everybody and, worrying about other people's judgments, oftentimes we feel guilty for being successful in the black community if we don't feel like everybody is at that level. And so what we will do is we will water down our prices, which will end up crippling our business. Let me tell you this, 80% of all small businesses in America fail within 5 years due to a lack of cash flow. And one of the reasons why so many businesses are unsuccessful is because they are selling a product or a service that doesn't have the proper price points to keep themselves in the game, okay? It's one thing if you are a price or cost competitor, like you're a Walmart. You got all of these wholesale products, you're able to sell it for rock bottom price, cheaper than anybody else, and you just have so much massive quantity and so much massive scale that you can get out so many products and quantities of products and be able to make a hell of a lot of money even though you're selling it at a rock bottom price. That's one thing. But in many cases, you're not even in the price game. You might be in a totally different game. You might be a quality competitor. You might be offering something a little bit more premium, which means that you should only be looking for premium buyers. Cheapskates should not even be in the market for your business. But because of the fact that you haven't gotten the learning on what type of customer is the right customer versus what type of customer is the wrong customer, you feel like because certain people are not interested in your business, it must mean that your business is a failure. When in actuality, in many cases, if certain people are not interested in your business, in many cases that might mean you're doing something right because your business model wasn't suited for them, okay? If you're marketing to the wrong people, because marketing to the wrong people is just as bad as no marketing. That's why I'm pointing at the board. This says creating a product with no marketing, but if you market in an improper fashion, it's pretty much like having no marketing at all, because it's still going to fall on deaf ears because nobody's going to buy it. If you don't understand who's supposed to be your ideal customer, you're never going to market to the right people. You know, I've heard people say things before, like pertaining to my services, that I should go out and, you know, hop in the middle of a fast food restaurant, start pitching my business ideas and thoughts to them, all because of the fact that we lack the understanding on who our proper customers are. When you know the right customers to go after, you got to make sure that you hit them right with the right price. And a lot of times we will sell ourselves short because we're trying to reach everybody, when in fact, reaching everybody is the death of our business. Ferrari doesn't try to sell to everybody. Gucci doesn't try to sell to everybody. Ralph Lauren Polo doesn't try to sell to everybody. So why should you? We got to learn how the game is played if we want to be successful in our business. If we don't learn, we're on a path to failure, okay? Because society is always changing. When something cutting edge comes out and we don't know anything about it, we're liable to fall off, okay? If we're not doing the right marketing, we don't know how to keep our business doors open because nobody's coming through. You got to be able to put it in front of the right people. And if we are underselling, eventually your expenses are going to outweigh your revenues.
So, good advice. You know, give me some idea if I decided, you know, take his advice and start a business, and even on social media, because they just get the right people and trying to find the right trusting people to get with, and that's true in the black community. How some people, they try to get you to sell a little bit of nothing. So, and you can't start out that way. That's very true. Because I mean, in the end, you're gonna hurt yourself. But like you said, if you was a big place like Walmart or Target or one of them other places, you can eat that loss up. But when you first starting out, you got to start off, and it's just like, that's true. He had a lot of good points. I've heard other business people say the same thing from other walks of life. They said they pretty much keep the same way. And other ethnic groups, when they do business, it's the same way. That's how they're able to stay afloat in their business, whatever their entrepreneur business allow them to be. But in this video, particularly for Foundation of Black Americans, that was some good advice, very good advice on how you're able to succeed. I give him, an 8 point on that one, because we do it, and it teach me a lesson. If I did, I have to learn to be stern and be strong at that point on stand by your principle. And don't let people intimidate you, make you feel guilty, and you ain't looking out for your people and all this snag. No, it's not that. People don't understand the proper procedure of business, and that's any business. Even no matter if someone's from a mechanic shop, I understand. I think to a certain degree, they have to eat up that cost. I mean, they have to pay the cost, but if they're doing pretty good, I can understand if a barber or whatever, because he has to think about his supplies and things like that. Some small business, and to a business on the internet, and or whatever small business you have out there. But I just want to make a short video and let if you a black person think about being an entrepreneur, that look at the obstacles of what the people had to go through and what's really stopping us today, even though there was obstacles, and they're going to probably be obstacles, but for every obstacle there's a way around it. So that's what told me about what Professor covered in that video, that there's always another obstacle around. And then look what the black diaspora did from in their own countries, in South Africa and Nigeria and different places. And lastly but leastly, the good advice about that. So if you're considering, if you ever, hope this is a positive video to give you something to think about, to show an aspect of this is who we are, as a people. And some of us have it. Some of us just need it. Like myself, we need a little more encouragement, a little bit more insight, and listen and learn so we can be successful. But I hope you really take, shout out to the channels for that. I hope that this get good information. And I always, when I begin a video is to show you the history, because it's always the naysayers. And they were naysayers back in their time during slavery. They're going to probably be naysayers, but through persistence and dedication, we overcome. And this could be the year that we've always been in the shadows as black people, black men and women. Now these other people are going to see that we come forth. They start to see value, and they can't keep mistreating us and thinking that they're going to be above us, because there's no above. The Most High eliminate that. There's no totem pole effect no more. Because how can you be on top when you have no finances to keep people under oppression up under you? And another thing about this, if you learn from these other ethnic groups, is really try to work with people before you go outside. In foundational black America, treat each other with respect in business and things, and hire within. Look at your other counterparts. Look at the Arabs. Look at your Hispanics. Look at your South Asians. Look at your counterparts of Africans and other people. What do you see what they have in common? They hire within. Before they hire anybody else, they hire within. And sometimes it's for various cultural reasons. Sometimes it's a language reason why they hire. And I think they feel more comfortable. And they know how to they understand. They could be kind of ruthless too. But if you do get hired by some foreign business, it depends on the business owner. Sometimes they don't like to pay you well if you work for them. So that's why you should have your own business and do your own thing and be your own entrepreneur and make your own money. Because even though 80% of mainstream people will hire us, but there's always you have microaggression out there when it comes to black people. The perception that black people don't work harder. When they do, they just don't get whatever position that they get. They don't treat you right. They don't let you get away with things like other people get away with things. You see favoritism, you see nepotism on your job. Why not go into business? Why? So the Most High didn't want us to be servants to all these nations. He put it in us to be inventive. And so it's time that whatever the Most High put in us, we capitalize it for ourselves. Stop letting other people discourage and capitalize on you off of your hard efforts. And when we start learning how to respect each other in business and in life, we can do good. Some of us have to have business etiquette, and for some customers, you have to understand as a business owner, in the black community, he or she got to charge it, because that's their way to survive. So there's got to be understanding about that. But we I think black people can do it like any other community. If you don't, because my theory is, why make other people rich when they don't really, they want your currency, but they don't want you. So why give your finances, why give your pearls to a people that doesn't want you? Why give it to people that put on a face act like they got to put up with you, but they really don't want you? And you may not be a person that's have an attitude or a negative attitude towards them or belittle them or anything or think, well, you can be a kind person, but they don't see it that way. So, I hear this word called delineation. Can't say the name. Withdrawing delineation. I can't say it. From Foundation of Black America. I can't. Delineation. I hope it sounds right. From other people, and now people, and it's like I heard Phil Scott said on from African Diaspora. He said these other people starting to shake their money. When Foundation of Black America start going within their own, start making these other nations and national ethics, and when you can start controlling and get behind the young entrepreneurs who have the good spirit and business etiquette, give them respect, with the young men and young women, because that's it's like what the John Henry Clarks would say: when you all that you got, you have no friends. Even in business, somebody might have a heart for you among your own community, because they were able to. A lot of times it's the communication. They know where you're coming from. Sometimes these other people, sometimes they don't have a way of being. They try to do good, but they don't have the good communication. And communicate with when it comes to Foundation of Black America. So this would ought to motivate you more and want to be your own entrepreneur for yourself. And for black people who patronize, go ahead and patronize it, their business, and don't give them a hard time. If they give you good business service, give them love and respect, because some of these other people don't think too highly of them. And collectively, there are people among different groups, that individuals from these groups that try to stop you. And I know among Foundation of Black America, African Americans, Black Americans can get it up, even though who we vote for haven't been there, but somehow we're able to survive. That's amazing. Even from then to now. And some of us can get. So use whatever's gifting you, and you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, then. Hope you like this video. Like and subscribe and share, and maybe subscribe to their channels. Next time, hope you see you on the next video. Take care.